Howdy folks, Wayne Davis here with Larry Higgins. We got Jody back there, and Peter Smith is with us from Tampa, Florida. Peter, first time to Texas?
Pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
He does, Peter fishes a lot in the Tampa area. He does a lot of snook, and he's actually targeting trout. He's a wade fisherman in Tampa, which is pretty unusual, and it's really cool. And when Larry and Peter connected, so we invited him down here to try to chase some of our South Texas trophy trout. So we're going to give that a go. But long story short, it's middle of February. We are getting a late start. You hear that theme often with us, but we work off of the weather, mostly in the winter. As for an example, yesterday it was pre-frontal. The water temperature got to 68 degrees. It was slick calm. We left the dock around 6 o'clock in the morning, and we capitalized on that warming trend, and we were able to throw topwaters such as the Mansfield Knocker is what we were tossing yesterday, and it really paid off for us pre-frontal. The bite didn't kick off like we thought it would, but we did talk a few of them into eating, and we really got some nice trout out of it and some nice reds. But front hammered us about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The water air temperature's what, 44?
Yeah, it dropped down to 44 last night. Yeah.
44?
Probably gusting over 50 at times, more than likely.
I think I saw it like at 47. I looked it up. We were talking about it earlier. But anyway, so now we're getting a late start. You know, the bay is turned up. It just blew like crazy. And we're going to try to go out there and peck at a few nice trout today and introduce Peter to South Texas Port Mansfield fishing. So water has dropped out about a foot.
That's about as low as I've ever seen it here. Yeah.
Since yesterday. So it'll concentrate the fish. The fish probably moved off last night into some deeper water. They're sitting there, and then as the sun is piercing down on the shallow flats, they might move back up if we can find some good water, and they should be warming, and we're going to try to capitalize on that. But another adventure with an out-of-stater. Peter, he's looking forward to it, so we're going to give it a go today and wish us luck on a cold February post-front day.
Yeah. So when we're wearing our gloves like this, you know it's cold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bundled up. I like wearing a dark colored jacket in the wintertime because it absorbs the heat and kind of keeps you warm out there. So everybody is geared up and ready.
Let's get it.
So we hit our first spot. I don't know if you can tell by some of the drone footage, but we're on a flat, real shallow, and then it falls off, and when we're running the flat, we could see those fish there right on the transition, but there's absolutely no wind, as you can tell. So what we're doing, I'm throwing the Smoke and Mirrors Wiggle-O on a 16th ounce jig head, and I mean, you have to just subtly put this sucker in those potholes and let it sit there almost like bass fishing. I've missed 3 fish, and it's just a little tick on the rod. They're super spooky. We have bluebird sky, thigh deep water, thick grass, and you have to get it in those potholes, right? The other thing is important. You know, I wear the Green Mirror Costa sunglasses. These are very, very effective for the flats that we're on. And you got to have a good pair of shades out here to be able to see these potholes and make those precision casts, especially when we don't have any wind. I like throwing a spinner for this particular situation, unless I'm throwing something big, like a big topwater or the big K or some corky or something like that. But right now it is key that we throw effectively in every single potholes. Get yourself a good pair of polarized sunglasses like the Costas. They're very, very effective out here on these flats like this. And you can pick those potholes apart, and you're hopefully going to be able to get you a fish or two out of them. So we were doing exactly what I was talking about earlier, throwing these potholes, but you have to dead stick it. let that lure sit in the bottom of the pothole and just twitch it almost like you're bass fishing, not a big trout. But a trout nonetheless. You got to key in on these potholes. Look at this bluebird sky. There's absolutely no wind. But this is a sign exactly what I was talking about. It's tough fishing, I'll tell you for sure. But he hit it, just a little peck. If you've ever bass fished, just a little, and then you gotta set your hook. Just a nice little trout. We're gonna try to get a big one. We've seen some big ones in here. Boy, it can be tough in these conditions. Trout.
Small trout.
So we've set up here, we moved a spot, and we dropped off Peter from Florida. He's about 150 yards away from us. I don't know if you can see it or not, but since we've been here for 15 minutes, I haven't had a hit, Larry hasn't had a hit, and Peter is hooked up to his fourth fish. So, it's not that we're gonna rush over there and jump in on his spot or where he's fishing, which would be totally okay, but the point is, we're 100 yards apart. We're in just a little bit thicker grass, and he's kind of on a grass line. We're fishing potholes, but he's on a grass line, and 100 yards makes a world of difference. He is hooked up 4 times in 15 minutes, and we're simply just 100 yards away from him. And we haven't had a bite, and we're throwing the exact same thing. I know he's throwing a Truth Wiggle-O. That's what he was throwing when he got off the boat. And I'm throwing a Smoke and Mirrors Wiggle-O. And I haven't had a hit. He's throwing a 3/32 jig head. So the fish are in pockets. They're concentrated, and Pete's in the line. He is in the zone, which is totally cool. I don't know if he's still fighting it or not. Yeah, oh yeah. So when you're fishing, even in the summertime, springtime, doesn't matter. Just 100 yards makes a world of difference. It's a huge tip, and I've learned that the hard way. While Peter from Florida has put on a clinic about 100 yards away from us, but I was hard-headed and stayed here. This fish picked it up, I missed it, and stopped my bait. Let it pause for about 3 seconds because I was in a pothole. I wasn't worried about the grass. And then one more twitch, and it picked it up. Very light bite though. See if he ate it good though. That's going to be an indication on what these fish are doing since it's so cold. We had 68-degree water temperature yesterday. I think I mentioned it. And today it's 50, 52 when we started, or 53. Big old slot red. So look at this. So he's hooked in the top of the mouth right there. That means he just picked it up like this. If it's down the hatch, that means they're really, really eating. This fish could have just picked it up and was going to eat it, or picked it. Yesterday we actually had fish picking up the bait and moving it, which was kind of weird. But he's barely hooked. His belly's pretty clean, a few lice on it, like right in here. But his belly's pretty clean. It's a big slot redfish. Just a nice 7.5 pounder. That's how it goes. So we've been about 100 yards apart from Pete, and he's had about 8 fish. Larry's between us about 40 yards or 30 yards from Pete, and he's had 3 fish. I'm over here, at 100 yards from Pete, and I've had one fish. So, and he's hooked up again. So, it's time. It comes a point where you say, you know what? We got to fish smart, not hard. So it's time to move over there next to Pete and try to get on some good fish. Let's do it. So anyway, we're in the minor feed right now. The water temperature is finally starting to warm up. And fish are starting to eat. It's like almost somebody's hooked up every couple of 3 minutes out of 3 anglers, which is a pretty good bite. We knew it was going to be slow early, so we didn't get out till late. But I'll tell you, it takes a lot of skill. Again, everything's in here. I don't know if we've ever cast and caught a black drum before, but we just did it without having a cut. He ate that gum. Smoke and mirrors. That was pretty cool. Those fish are starting to move back in. We timed it just right. Thank goodness we dropped off Pete. He went out a little deeper, like 100 yards from us. It's a better fish. They're not hitting hard, but when you hook them, the suckers are obviously... I thought this was a little fish too. Now here's a good sign, talking about coming into that minor feed late in the afternoon in the winter. This fish hit like a piggy perch. But he ate it. He ate it. Real light bite. This is some chalky water, kind of sandy green, and that thing bouncing it off the bottom has been pretty good since I put it on. Just a great big old slot redfish. Anybody would be happy with this guy in the tournament. Get another one.
That, I think, is a trout. Yes, it is. It's a little better one, too. Ever so slowly getting bigger. Another healthy fish. Look at all that lice. I mean, he is slap full of food. He's been eating good. Sweet. Beautiful fish.
All right, so we're trying to make it in for a Super Bowl. It may have already started, but we shall see. So anyway, we had a good day of fishing. Peter from Florida. Tell us, Peter.
It was a pretty awesome day. I mean, caught a pile of redfish, caught some trout mixed in here and there. Bite window opened up for what, an hour and a half?
Yep, right when that miner kicked in about 2 o'clock, and it was on until about 3:30.
Yeah, I mean, really, really fun day. Don't really see that many numbers in Florida. You don't see the same size fish, but the numbers are nowhere near what they are here.
Really?
So it was really cool. Really fun day.
Yeah, we tried to push it another hour and a half to see if we could keep them biting, but those fish, have a mind of their own, and they're going to eat when they want to eat.
I'm just glad we found them. Or the first 2 stops today, just nothing. I mean, because of the weather, that front that came in yesterday, all the fish that you'd been catching just pushed off of that flat. But Capt Wayne got us on another pot of fish, and it worked out all right.
Well, we a little luck was on our side. We always have to, keep that in play. We could use a little luck every now and again, but we also try to utilize the elements at hand to try to assist with us. Peter did good here, fishing from Florida. Real happy to have him down. That was totally cool. We're going to try it again tomorrow. We've got the same conditions pretty much, but we're going to try to capitalize on those windows because it certainly played a part today. Right when we saw a couple flickers of bait,
It's like a switch went off and they started biting. Yeah.
and we had at them for about an hour and a half, and then that was the end of that.
Yeah.
So we'll go watch the Super Bowl, see what happens.